Number 10. C. The money of soul and possibility control. Money is power, and without it, life is meaningless. In a country whose economy is in shambles, second-year economics university student Kamimura Yuga understands this fact all too well, as he is surrounded by the relatively luxurious lives of his peers, and struggling to make ends meet. However, his world is turned on its head when a stranger in a top hat arrives one late night at his door. Going by the name Masakaki, the visitor petitions Yuga to come to the Eastern Financial District, a place where money flows in abundance if one offers their future as collateral. Although reluctant, greed triumphs reason and Yuga accepts the offer, thus, taking on the mantle of an entree. But unbeknownst to him, the land of wealth he has entered is an alternate realm built in the likeness of his own, where entrees are forced to participate in weekly duels called deals, with their collateral at stake. Pitted against his countrymen in fate, Yuga must quickly adapt in this new world, if he hopes to protect his fortune and future and discover just how much money is truly worth. Number 9. Darwin's Game. High school student Kanem Sutu receives an invitation from a classmate to play Darwin's Game, a mobile game he has never heard of. However, as soon as he opens the application, a green snake suddenly pops out from his phone screen and bites his neck, leaving him unconscious. Waking up in the infirmary without any signs of a snake bite, he is told by the school to take the rest of the day off. Although he is puzzled by what has happened, he dismisses the surreal experience as a hallucination and boards the train home. Unfortunately, his curiosity gets the better of him, and he uses the application once again. As the application appears to be just like any other battle game, Kanem breathes out a sigh of relief, and decides to start his first match. However, the pleasant surprise is short-lived, as his in-game opponent unexpectedly appears right in front of him, and attempts to hunt him down with a knife. As he desperately runs for his life, Kanem puts two and two together, and realizes that Darwin's Game is not an ordinary game, but rather, it's a brutal fight for survival. Number 8. Gakikoku no Brynhilder. Venturing into the wilderness, the skeptical Ryota Murakami and the ambitious Kuroneko were on a quest to prove the existence of extraterrestrial life when a tragic accident occurred, reaping Kuroneko of her life, and leaving Ryota in a critically injured state. 10 years have passed since the disaster, and Ryota is now living a normal life in high school. He vows to prove that aliens are real in honor of his late friend. A transfer student named Neko Kuroha unexpectedly arrives one day, bearing a striking resemblance to the late Kuroneko, even sharing a similar name. Most mysteriously, she seems to possess supernatural powers. As Ryota takes more interest in Neko, he is drawn into a deadly world where dangerous scientists hunt magic-wielding witches that have escaped from their secret research laboratory. Neko is one of these escapees, but there are many others who are in similar situations, and it's up to Ryota to protect them from their would-be captors. Number 7. Exexixolic. Kimihira Watanuki can see spirits and other assorted supernatural creatures, which is quite a bothersome ability he strongly dislikes. On the way home one day, while plagued by some spirits, he is inexplicably compelled to enter a strange house. There, he encounters Yuko, a mysterious woman who claims to be able to rid him of the ability to see and attract the troublesome creatures for a price. She demands that he work at her store that grants wishes to people, and thus begins Watanuki's adventures through weird and wonderful events. Number 6. Blood Plus. Sayo Nashi is a seemingly ordinary girl living a mundane life with her adoptive family in Okinawa City. In fact, her only peculiarities are suffering from anemia, and being unable to remember any of her life beyond the previous year. However, Saya's forgotten past quickly comes back to haunt her one night. She is attacked at school by a creature that feeds on human blood. Just when all hope seems lost, a mysterious man named Haji appears and fends off the creature temporarily. But when her rescuer forces her to drink his blood, Saya suddenly enters a trance and slays the monster with ease, using her own blood as a catalyst. Saya then learns of an organization named Red Shield, founded for the sole purpose of defeating the hellish beasts. Now Saya and Haji must work together with Red Shield to fight these fearsome monsters, and unlock the secrets to the girl's past. Number 5. Beautiful Bones Sakurako's Investigation. When Shoutaru Tadeuaki first meets Sakurako Kuju, he knows his life will never be the same. Initially believing her to be responsible for her disappearance in the neighborhood, he later learns of her true talent: analyzing bone specimens. Sakurako has quite the collection of reconstructed animal bones, but she wishes she had more of the human variety, much to the chagrin of those around her. Soon, Shoutaru begins accompanying the eccentric osteologist on the many different unsolved cases she comes across, usually in the form of decomposing bodies. But with so many incidents happening around them, could there be a larger mystery at work in their lives? Sakurako-san no Ashimoto nai wa Shutai ga Yumateru is a story of two unlikely partners, each showing in their own way that bones can tell how one died, but only people can't tell how they live. Number 4. Black Bullet. In the year 2021, a parasitic virus known as Gastria infects humans and turns them into monsters. What is left of mankind now lives within the monolith walls that are made of uranium, the only material that can hurt Gastria. To counter the threat that the Gastria pose, cursed children, female children whose bodies contain trace amounts of the virus which grant them superhuman abilities, officially called initiators by the Tenno Civil Security, are given partners called promoters, people who work to guide and protect the young initiators. These teams of two are sent out on missions to fight the monsters created by the Gastria virus, and keep them at bay. Number 3. Danganronpa, the animation. Helt's Peak Academy is an elite high school that accepts only the most talented students. Individuals who successfully enroll receive their own unique titles, suitably reflective of their skills and traits. Of the 15 candidates admitted to the peculiar school that year, Mikoto Niki is a completely ordinary individual who has been accepted by sheer chance, with the title of Super High School Level Luck. Niki and his fellow classmates are initially ecstatic to be chosen to study at this prestigious institution, but these feelings of happiness are short-lived. They are soon confronted by Monokuma, the principal and resident bear, who traps them inside the school. The pupils' hopes of escape and graduation hinge on one of them successfully murdering one of their peers without being discovered. However, if the killer is caught, he or she will be executed, and the remaining survivors will be left to continue the deathmatch until only a single victor remains. Number 2. Ghost Hunt. While at school, Taniyama Mai and her friends like to exchange ghost stories. Apparently, there is an abandoned school building on their campus that is the center of many ghost stories. During the story, they are interrupted by a mysterious male figure. The person turns out to be Shibuya Kazaya, a 17-year-old who is president of the Shibuya Psychic Research Company. He was called by the principal to investigate the story surrounding the abandoned school building. The next day, on the way to school, Mai passes the school building in question. While examining a strange camera she spotted inside, she gets surprised by Kazaya's assistant. Unknowingly interfering with the investigation, Mai breaks the camera, and Kazaya's assistant gets injured. Kazaya forcefully hires Mai in order to pay for the camera, and replace his injured assistant. From that point on, Mai begins to learn about the paranormal world and the profession of ghost hunting. Number 1. Darker Than Black. It has been 10 years since Heaven's Gate appeared in South America, and Hell's Gate appeared in Japan, veiling the once familiar night sky with an oppressive skyscape. Their purpose is unknown. These gates are spaces in which the very laws of physics are ignored. With the appearance of the gates emerged contractors, who, in exchange for their humanity, are granted supernatural abilities. In the Japanese city surrounding Hell's Gate, Section 4 Chief Misaki Kirihara finds herself at odds with an infamous contractor codenamed Hai. Called Black Reaper in the underground world, Hai, like his associates, undertakes missions for the mysterious and ruthless syndicate, while slowly peeling back the dark layers covering a nefarious plot that threatens the very existence of contractors. From the mind of Tensai Okamura comes a sci-fi thriller, taking the form of a subtle expose on a war in which political positions and justice have no sway, a war waged exclusively in the shadows.
We honor the heroes.